Welcome to the Wealth Shift TV, where we turn mindset into money and knowledge into generational wealth. In today's video, we're unlocking a truth that most people completely overlook. Opportunity doesn't just happen. It comes from opportunity. Sound confusing? It's not. Think about it. Why do some people keep climbing higher, opening doors after doors, while others stay stuck, watching from the sidelines? Even when they started with the same tools, the same time, and sometimes even more talent. The difference? Action, momentum, movement. One opportunity births another. So stick around, because this one shift in perspective might be the exact mindset unlock that changes how you see opportunity, how you take action, and ultimately, how you build the life you've been dreaming of. Now let's go on a journey. A journey through 10 powerful keys that will transform your life from ordinary to becoming a dominant force in your purpose, in your passion, and in your generation. Let's dive in. Number 1, the urgency of now. Most people don't fail because they don't have great ideas. They fail because they don't act on them. Let me ask you something. How many dreams have you locked away, waiting for the right time? How many goals have you postponed, thinking, I'll start tomorrow? But here's the truth. There is no perfect moment. There is no flawless condition. There is no magical time when the stars align. There is only now. The greatest lie that kills destinies is one word: later. Because later becomes never. You blink and 10 years have passed. Your dream, still on paper. Your passion, still a theory. Your calling, still silent. Every success story begins not with perfection, but with a decision to act now, to rise, even when you're afraid, to move, even when the path isn't clear. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step." You don't need to be fearless. You don't need to have it all figured out, because readiness, that's a myth. You don't wait to feel confident. You build confidence by doing. You earn clarity through movement. You become courageous by taking action. Les Brown said it best, "You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great." The people who succeed in life are not the most talented. They are the ones who start and keep going. They fail forward. They fall, but they rise faster. They understand action creates opportunity, and that opportunity creates more opportunity. Maybe you're waiting for the economy to change, waiting for the perfect partner, waiting for fear to disappear. But hear this, fear doesn't leave before you move. It leaves because you move. You don't need all the answers. You don't need approval. You don't need permission. This is your moment. The idea you've been holding on to, give it legs, give it life. Write the first sentence, record the first video, build the first prototype, make the first call. Just start. Reid Hoffman, co-founder of LinkedIn, once said, "If you're not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you've launched too late." Don't wait to be perfect. Don't wait to be polished. Don't wait to be praised. Because time doesn't pause for anyone. Carl Sandburg once wrote, "Time is the coin of your life. It's the only coin you have, and only you can decide how it will be spent." So I say to you today, with all the love, all the power, and all the truth I can give you, do it now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not someday, now. Because your future deserves more than your hesitation. Your legacy deserves more than your delay. You were made to build. You were born to create. You were called to shift. So start, right where you are, with what you have, as you are. This is the wealth shift. This is your turning point. Number 2, opportunity is a chain reaction. They say lightning never strikes twice in the same place, but opportunity, it can strike again and again if you know how to move with it. Opportunity is a chain reaction. One spark creates another. One move triggers momentum. And before you know it, your entire life starts shifting. But here's the trap. Most people wait for the big break. They think opportunity arrives like a limousine, grand, polished, with flashing lights. But the truth, Opportunity often comes disguised as a small task, a boring meeting, a random DM, or even a failed project. It's not what the opportunity looks like, it's what it can unlock. Picture this. A man gets invited to speak at a small event. Only 20 people are there. He could say, "Nah, too small, not worth it." But he shows up. One person in the crowd is a producer. That one talk leads to a podcast. The podcast gets him noticed by a CEO. Before the year ends, he's sitting on an advisory board for a global company. It all began with one yes to something that didn't even look like a real opportunity. As Napoleon Hill once said, opportunity often comes disguised in the form of misfortune or temporary defeat. That's because opportunity rarely announces itself with a loud trumpet. It whispers. It tests. It hides in motion. Here's the hard truth. You won't find the next opportunity unless you say yes to the current one. That blog you want to start? That internship you feel is beneath you? That cold call you're afraid to make? Those are not the finish line, they're the first domino. And if you don't knock over the first one, nothing moves. There are two types of people. Those who ask, what if it doesn't work? And those who ask, what if this leads somewhere bigger? The first group stays stuck. The second group starts small, stays open, and stumbles into gold. The chain reaction of opportunity rewards movement. Not perfection, not certainty, just action. What's the point of $1 million idea if it's never acted on? How many visions have died in notebooks? How many dreams are buried in hard drives? How many lives could have been changed if someone just took that first step? Do you know how most successful people found their big break? They didn't wait to be discovered, they started. Some were underqualified, some were scared. Most had no clue what they were doing at first. But they were consistent, they were curious, they were committed. And because they moved, opportunity moved toward them. Opportunity is alive. It responds to energy. It respects movement. It reveals itself to those who dare to step. Faith without works is dead. And so is potential without action. Small deeds done are better than great deeds planned. Peter Marshall. So do the small thing. Start messy, take the step. That's how the shift begins. That's how the change starts. Because opportunity doesn't knock, it echoes. And every echo starts with your first action. Number 3, kill the king called procrastination. There is an enemy sitting on the throne of too many lives. He wears a crown of excuses. He carries a scepter of delay. His name is procrastination. And every time you bow to him, your potential loses its power. Let's be real, this king doesn't show up like a villain. No, he's slick. He comes wearing comfort. He speaks softly. He tells you, you've got time. He whispers, why rush? You can do it later. But here's what he doesn't tell you. Later becomes never. Tomorrow becomes a trap. And soon the dreams in your heart rot away. Not because they weren't powerful, but because you let them wait too long. Procrastination is the grave in which opportunity is buried. You've been gifted with purpose. You've been wired with vision. But none of that matters if you keep giving your time to delay. Every time you procrastinate, you're choosing comfort over calling, fear over faith, and ease over impact. Let me break it down like this. You don't need another strategy session. You don't need to watch another YouTube tutorial. You don't need to pray for clarity if God already gave you a vision. What you need to do is move. You need to kill the king before he kills your future. Because procrastination is not just about wasted time. It's about stolen destiny. It's the enemy of momentum. It's the silent killer of greatness. It's the voice that convinces you to wait until you feel ready, when in truth, readiness is born in motion, not in meditation. Hear this. You may delay, but time will not. Benjamin Franklin. You're not waiting on the right time. Time is moving, whether or not you do. While you're hesitating, someone else is executing. While you're doubting, someone else is building. Every single person who made impact didn't wait until they felt 100% ready. They stepped out, they stumbled, they grew in the process. You don't get better by standing still, you get better by doing. So here's what I want you to do today. Kill the king, slay the voice that says, tomorrow. Take back the throne of your time and your purpose. Start small if you must, but start. Set a deadline, make the call, launch the page, write the proposal, send the email, record the video. Action will destroy your procrastination. Og Mandino. Because when you start acting, you send a signal to your brain that you're not a slave to feelings. You're a master of decision. Don't let procrastination trick you into thinking there's always more time. There isn't. You've already lost enough to delay. You've already sacrificed enough joy to waiting. This is your moment to move. This is your time to rise. Kill the king and take your crown back. Number 4. The myth of overplanning. Let's talk about one of the greatest illusions that paralyzes progress. Overplanning. It feels productive. It looks intelligent. It gives you the illusion of movement. But listen closely. It's often just a well-dressed form of fear. You're not preparing, you're hiding. You're not strategizing, you're stalling. Here's the truth. You don't need a perfect plan to start. You need to start for the plan to take shape. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Zig Ziglar. Some of us have been sitting on a business idea for years. We've got the journals, the mind maps, the spreadsheets, even the color palettes. But guess what we don't have? Action, execution, results. Because we bought into a myth that if I plan enough, I'll remove all the risk. That if I tweak just a little more, I'll feel ready. But let me tell you something powerful. Clarity comes from doing, not from endless planning. Planning is good, planning is wise, but over-planning becomes a prison, a cage with golden bars. Do something good today. Not perfect, just good. Launch the page, write the first chapter, post the content, pitch the product, just start. Because the moment you take action, life starts responding. Connections show up, feedback comes, momentum builds, and most importantly, you start transforming. The myth of over-planning must die if your dreams will live. You've prepared long enough. You've studied long enough. You've waited long enough. Now, it's time to build in the real world. This is not the season of theory. This is the season of traction. You don't need the full map. You just need a compass and the courage to walk. Let today be the death of over-planning. Let it be the birth of your action. Because while others are drawing blueprints, you'll be laying bricks. And that, my friend, is how legacies are built. Number 5. Smart people still fail. Why? Let me ask you a question. Why do smart people still fail? Why do people with degrees, experience, connections, and skills still live unfulfilled, underachieving lives? Why do some of the most intelligent minds never translate their brilliance into results? Here's the truth nobody tells you. Smart does not equal success. The world is full of intelligent failures. People who know all the right answers, but never ask the right questions. People who studied the map, but never took the journey. People who collect certificates, but never apply courage. You see, knowledge is potential power, but execution is real power. A brilliant idea stuck in your head is as useless as a light bulb with no electricity. Think about it. There are people less educated than you making more impact. There are people less skilled, less informed, less connected, but they're doing it. They're building, they're moving, they're growing. Why? Because it's not intelligence that separates success from stagnation. It's initiative. It's the boldness to act, the willingness to fail forward, the refusal to wait until everything is perfect. The path to success is to take massive, determined action. Tony Robbins. Smart people often fail because they overthink. They analyze every outcome. They try to forecast every risk. They want 100% certainty in a world that only offers 80% faith. So they wait, and while they wait, the moment passes. Let's be honest, many smart people are addicted to certainty. They want guarantees before they move. But life doesn't reward the cautious. It rewards the courageous. Inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. Dale Carnegie. So what if you fail? Failure isn't the enemy, fear is. In fact, failure is one of the best teachers life will ever offer. Every success story you admire today has failure as its foundation. But here's the twist. Some smart people never give themselves the chance to fail, so they never give themselves the chance to win. They're paralyzed by potential. They're stuck in the classroom of life, always learning but never launching, always planning but never producing, always talking but never transforming. Friend, don't let that be your story. You weren't made to just know things. You were made to create things, to build, to shape, to contribute, to lead. You can be smart and still poor, smart and still stagnant, smart and still stuck. Until you add boldness to your brilliance, your wisdom will waste away in silence. This is not the time to hide behind intelligence. This is the time to combine it with intention. You don't need another course before you begin. You don't need another mentor before you move. What you need is to believe that your action can multiply your knowledge. Success is not the result of spontaneous combustion. You must set yourself on fire. Arnold H. Glasso. Set yourself on fire. Ignite your potential. Dare to do more than think. Dare to execute. Because one bold move from a smart mind can change your destiny forever. So, why do smart people still fail? Because too many refuse to convert their intelligence into initiative. Don't be another statistic. Be the exception. You already have the mind. Now bring the motion. And watch your life shift from idea to impact. Number 6. Self-reliance is your superpower. There's a silent killer of dreams that nobody talks about. It's not fear. It's not laziness. It's dependence. Too many people are sitting still, not because they lack ability, but because they're waiting. Waiting for validation, waiting for help, waiting for someone to believe in them first. But hear this clearly, nobody is coming to save you. That may sound harsh, but it's also the most liberating truth you'll ever embrace. Because once you stop waiting, you start creating. Once you stop leaning, you start standing. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. Self-reliance is not selfishness, it's not arrogance. It's the quiet confidence that says, if no one shows up, I'll still show up for myself. And that mindset, that is your superpower. Every successful person you admire, entrepreneurs, artists, visionaries, they all had one thing in common. They backed themselves before anyone else did. They didn't wait for applause to believe. They didn't wait for funding to start. They didn't wait for everything to be perfect before they moved. They built with what they had. They bet on themselves. They carried the weight alone until the right people came along to help. I am not a product of my circumstances. I am a product of my decisions. Stephen Covey. That's self-reliance. It's waking up with fire even when nobody cheers. It's showing up for your goals like your life depends on it. Because in many ways it does. Here's what they won't teach you in school. No one owes you anything. Not your parents, not the system, not the government. Your future belongs to those who take full ownership of their journey. Stop outsourcing your power. Stop giving people permission to delay your destiny. Your growth, your wealth, your peace. It starts the day you say, I'm not waiting for a miracle, I'm becoming one. If you're waiting for someone to believe in you, look in the mirror. That's your person. Unknown. Self-reliance doesn't mean you do life alone. It means you don't let waiting become your lifestyle. Ask yourself this. Are you waiting for someone to invest in you before you invest in yourself? Formatting for a yes from people who don't even know your vision? Preparing greatness because you're scared to walk alone? Let me remind you of something powerful. Lions don't move in herds. Eagles don't fly in flocks. The path to greatness often feels lonely, but it's in that space of isolation that self-reliance is born. That's where your grit sharpens. That's where your voice strengthens. That's where your roots go deep. The man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. Confucius. So carry your stones, build your empire, one brick at a time. Start the thing, fund the thing, believe in the thing. You're not weak for doing it alone. You're dangerous for being able to. Don't wait for cheerleaders, be your own momentum. Don't wait for motivation, create discipline. Because when you master self-reliance, you become unstoppable. People will begin to ask you, how did you do it? And you'll say, I stopped waiting and I started building. That, my friend, is your superpower. Not the degree, not the talent, not the connections, your belief in you. Unshakable, undeniable, unstoppable. Make yourself so strong on the inside that nothing on the outside can break you. Unknown. So rise today with new confidence. Rely on the only person you truly control, yourself. The help may come later, but the work must begin now. Number 7. Resistance to change. The silent killer. Let's talk about one of the most dangerous threats to your future. Not bankruptcy, not betrayal, not even failure. It's resistance to change. And it's silent. so you often won't notice it's killing you until it already has. You see, most people don't fail because they weren't good enough. They fail because they refuse to let go of who they used to be. Progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. George Bernard Shaw. If you're trying to grow, but you're still holding tightly to your comfort zone, you're not evolving. You're stalling. Growth requires movement, and movement always disrupts comfort. Change is scary, yes, but stagnation, that's deadly. You can be consistent and still be irrelevant. You can be talented and still be outdated. Think about Blockbuster. They laughed when Netflix was rising. They stayed committed to what used to work. And now, they're history. That's what happens when you choose familiarity over flexibility. Let me be real with you. The version of you that's going to win in 5 years does not exist today. You must become that person through intentional, sometimes uncomfortable transformation. The measure of intelligence is the ability to change. Albert Einstein. But here's the paradox. Everyone wants a new life. Nobody wants to do new things. You want financial freedom, but you don't want to learn new money habits. You want a better business, but resist updating your strategy. You want love, but refuse to unlearn toxic patterns. You cannot demand transformation and then reject transition. Change is the price you pay for elevation. And here's the truth. The longer you delay change, the more expensive it becomes. You lose time, you lose relevance, you lose opportunity. When the winds of change blow, some build walls, others build windmills. Chinese proverb. Ask yourself honestly, what have I been clinging to because it feels familiar, even though it no longer serves me? What mindset, habit, or routine am I afraid to release because it feels like me, even though it's killing my momentum? Because that resistance, that refusal to pivot, that's the silent killer. It's why some people remain in dead-end jobs for years. It's why others sabotage growth because they're scared of who they'll become. It's why dreams rot inside comfortable cages. And don't confuse delay with strategy. Sometimes we say, I'm just waiting on the right time. But the truth, you're just afraid of discomfort. Here's what life will never stop doing: throwing curveballs. Economies shift, trends evolve, industries rise and fall, adapt or dissolve. That's the unspoken rule. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. Charles Darwin. If your business isn't changing, it's dying. If your mindset isn't growing, it's shrinking. If your routine isn't improving, it's repeating. So what's the cure for this silent killer? Openness. A mindset that's not married to the method, but committed to the mission. Be willing to upgrade your skills, rethink your strategies, surround yourself with people who challenge your old thinking. Listen, the fastest way to lose your spot is to defend your spot too much. Don't cling to a mistake just because you spent a lot of time making it. Aubrey de Grey. You've got to be bold enough to walk away from what used to work and embrace what's working now. Don't be the last person to catch up to your future. Let go of ego, let go of stubbornness, let go of outdated habits, because on the other side of change is a version of you that's wiser, stronger, wealthier, and freer. But you'll never meet them if you're too loyal to the old you. So here's your shift today. Stop waiting for change to knock. Invite it, initiate it, own it. And remember, change isn't your enemy, resistance is. Number 8, the action group versus the excuse group. In every room, in every industry, on every street, there are only 2 types of people you'll ever meet: the action group and the excuse group. Both have dreams, both have 24 hours, both feel fear, both face obstacles, but only one of them gets results. The other, they get really good at explaining why they don't. You can have results or excuses, not both. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Let's talk about it. The action group doesn't wait for the perfect time. They move imperfectly, but intentionally. They understand that progress beats perfection every single time. Meanwhile, the excuse group, they've always got a reason why they can't. It's not the right season. I'm still figuring things out. I'm waiting for a sign. I would, if only. Their goals are dressed in excuses, not execution. Here's the painful truth. Excuses are just permission slips to stay stuck. You write them, you sign them, and you wonder why you're still in the same place. But the action group, they don't need permission. They give themselves the green light. Do not wait to strike till the iron is hot, but make it hot by striking. William Butler Yeats. They don't need motivation to act. They act, and motivation follows. Let me show you the difference. The excuse group says, I'll start when I'm ready. The action group says, I'll get ready by starting. The excuse group says, I'm not sure how. The action group says, I'll figure it out as I go. One is watching YouTube videos for 6 months. The other is building their first draft on day 1. One is trapped in analysis. The other is creating momentum. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Zig Ziglar. Now here's the twist. Excuse makers often sound deep. They use sophisticated language to hide simple fear. They'll say things like, I'm strategizing. I'm waiting for clarity. I'm optimizing the right framework. But behind the curtain, they're paralyzed by indecision. They're masters of movement without direction. But action takers, they're not just busy, they're building. They understand that clarity comes through movement, not before it. The path is made by walking. Antonio Machado. Let me be blunt. Nobody ever got paid for a plan they didn't execute. You won't be rewarded for what you meant to do, only for what you moved on. Even if you fail, you're further ahead than those who never tried. The action group knows failure is data. The excuse group treats it like death. Here's a mindset shift for you. Done is better than perfect, because done moves you forward. Perfect only paralyzes. Now let me ask you directly, which group are you currently in? Not which group you want to be in, not which group you talk like, but based on your daily habits, your weekly results, your calendar, which group do you belong to? In the end, we only regret the chances we didn't take. Lewis Carroll. If your week is full of reasons and empty of results, you already have your answer. And this isn't judgment, it's your wake-up call. Because nobody accidentally becomes successful. You don't fall into greatness, you fight into it with action. The action group wakes up with a plan. They create content, make calls, write drafts, build projects. They're not always confident, but they're always committed. They fall, they adjust, they learn. But most importantly, they keep going. While the excuse group, they're still waiting on the right mindset to begin. Newsflash, mindset follows motion. You act your way into belief. Start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. Arthur Ashe. And here's the final kicker. Every excuse you make today is building a wall between you and the life you claim to want. Brick by brick, day by day, until one day, you're boxed in by your own delay. So here's your shift. Stop negotiating with your potential. Stop rehearsing your limitations. Stop letting fear write your schedule. You're not short on time. You're not short on resources. You're not short on potential. You're just one decision away from changing groups. You either act or you explain, but you don't get to do both. So make your choice. Because success doesn't belong to the smartest or the most gifted. It belongs to the ones who move, even when it's messy. The action group is waiting. They're not better than you, they just started. Now it's your turn. Number 9, work smarter, not just harder. Let me tell you a truth that might rattle you a bit. Hard work alone doesn't make you rich. That's right, the grind, the hustle, the all-nighters, they matter, but only when they're backed by smart direction. Because effort without strategy is just movement without progress. We live in a world that glorifies the hustle. Rise and grind, they say. But let me ask you this. What's the use of running fast? If you're on the wrong track, let's break it down. There are people pulling 14-hour shifts, working multiple jobs, chasing every opportunity, and yet they stay stuck, burnout, broke, frustrated. Meanwhile, someone else works 6 focused hours a day, scales a business, builds multiple income streams, and lives in peace. Why? Because it's not just about how hard you work, it's about how wisely you move. Don't confuse activity with achievement. John Wooden. Hard work is a multiplier, not a miracle. It multiplies whatever plan you have in place. If the plan is flawed, more effort only takes you deeper into frustration. Let me show you the shift that separates the wealthy from the weary. Smart work means knowing your why before chasing the how, delegating low-value tasks to focus on high-value results, automating, systemizing, simplifying, leveraging skills, networks, and tech instead of doing everything solo. It's not about being lazy, it's about being strategic. It's the shift from being busy to being effective. Here's the truth. The richest people in the world didn't work the hardest. They worked the wisest. They learned to stop trading time for money and instead built systems that worked while they slept. They didn't just dig ditches, they invented shovels and sold them. The key is in not spending time, but in investing it. Stephen R. Covey. So what does working smarter look like? Let me give you a practical map. 1. Audit your day. Where's your time going? What's giving you results? And what's just draining you? 2. Focus on the 20%. You've heard of the 80-20 rule? 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions. Find that 20% and double down on it. 3. Master one thing before chasing 10. Depth creates dominance. Get great at one thing, and let that mastery open doors to others. 4. Let technology work for you. Schedule, automate, use tools. If you can solve a problem with software or systems, do it. Free your mind for the tasks that need you. 5. Collaborate. You don't need to be a genius at everything. Surround yourself with people whose strengths complement yours. Burnout is not a badge of honor. You don't earn a medal for exhaustion. You earn results from alignment. Working hard for something we don't care about is called stress. Working hard for something we love is called passion. Simon Sinek. When you're working smart, you're not just putting in effort, you're getting traction. It's the difference between pushing a car with your hands and turning the key in the ignition. You're not here to just hustle until your hair turns gray. You're here to build, scale, and sustain. So yes, work hard, but don't glorify the grind without guidance. Make your time count. Make your energy count. Make your moves make sense. Because the moment you stop worshiping sweat and start honoring strategy, you'll stop chasing success and start attracting it. This is your wake-up call. Start working smarter. Because in the Wealth Shift community, we don't just hustle blindly, we build wisely. Number 10, final word, do it now. Let's get straight to it. You've heard the lessons, you've seen the mindset gaps, you've caught the shifts, but none of it matters if you don't act. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Zig Ziglar. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not as wide as you think. It's just one decision wide, one bold move, one act of courage, one now instead of later. And listen, time is not your friend if you treat it like it's unlimited. Every minute you delay is someone else's opportunity to pass you. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Chinese proverb. You've got dreams? Good. You've got ideas? Even better. Now the question is, what are you doing about them? Because every idea left untouched becomes regret. And regret is expensive. The cost of inaction is invisible until it shows up as lost years. Here's the uncomfortable truth. There is never a perfect time, never a perfect bank balance, never a perfect mood. You act, and then clarity follows. You move, and then momentum shows up. In the end, we only regret the chances we didn't take. So Lewis Carroll. You've got to stop being addicted to preparation and allergic to execution. Start before you're ready. Speak even if your voice shakes. Launch that idea with what you have, not with what you hope to get. Because guess what? Done beats perfect. Every single time. Let me paint you a picture. 5 years from now, 2 versions of you will exist. One that did, one that didn't. The one that did will be tired, but fulfilled. Scarred, but wiser. Maybe they failed. Maybe they succeeded, but they moved. The other you, still watching, still thinking, still waiting for a sign. This message is your sign. A year from now, you may wish you had started today. Karen Lamb. And that's what I'm trying to save you from. You can have all the strategies, all the ideas, all the motivation in the world. But the winners are not those who had the best plan. They're those who took the first step. So I'll leave you with this. You don't need more time, you need more courage. You don't need perfect conditions. You need bold commitment. You don't need permission. You need discipline. Start building. Start investing. Start learning. Start speaking. Start saving. Start healing. Start trying. Just start. Because every finish line is only possible because someone once decided to begin. And today, it's your turn. No more delay, no more excuses, no more someday. Do it now. This is the Wealth Shift TV, where we turn mindset into money and knowledge into wealth.